control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I thought I'd show a slightly different post to usual. This is the shock therapy mission from Command & Conquer Red Alert Aftermath, but this is obviously the newer, updated Openra version. And here's the briefing for the mission. It says, a small border town has been voicing support for the Allied cause. These people are no longer Soviets, but enemies to our great empire. As enemies, they must be destroyed. So basically, in Stalin's insane paranoia, he's going to commit a war crime against these people and turn the region and the rest of the world against us. Create an enemy where there wasn't one, and make it clear to anyone who didn't already know that we are the bad guys. So take Stalin's elite shock troopers and show them the iron might of the Soviet army. No doubt the rabble will seek help from the minute Allied influence in the area. Whatever pathetic support they can muster, it will not be enough. Crush them all. Let nothing stop you. So I've had some shock troopers delivered by parachute up here. I've already killed one guy in his hut, and now I'm destroying this village. But I've been given some reinforcements. I've got 3 engineers, a demolition truck, and a V2 rocket launcher, and I've also got 10 shock troopers. Now, I'm clearing out the area, making sure there's no civilians left alive. And this demolition truck is a truck, a normal lorry, a normal lorry with an atom bomb in the back. So you have to protect it and make sure it doesn't blow up, because if an enemy tank was to sneak through or something and detonate this, or if you accidentally use an attack move order, it will blow up. Or if you accidentally press the letter F while you've got it selected. You've got to be careful with these things. It's an atom bomb in the back of a truck, so you have to be careful. But I'm protecting the rear of my forces with these shock troopers, and I'm moving forward with some shock troopers and using the V2 for some vision range. But I know there's base defences over in this area, so I have to watch it. So what I do is I wait. Once it starts firing, I move it back. But that didn't tell me anything. It didn't show me where it was. So I've got no choice but to take a few pot shots. I actually aimed here, but I don't know exactly where it is. So I think I fired a couple of shots and then went to have a look. But these 5 shock troopers are still protecting from this angle my forces. I've got to protect these engineers and the demo truck, but there you go, there's the base defense. So now he's revealed it. He's got to escape, but he's got very little health. But now I can target it and protect him with the shock troopers. But the first hut that I destroyed actually leaves a crate, and that crate will heal your units to full health. So that's where these guys are going now. And the V2 is in serious need of repair. So just to make sure the crate has an effect on it, I'm bringing it closer, because I don't want to heal these guys and not that. But it might be a global heal, you see. There you go. Now the V2's all back up to full health. And I can move out. Now, I've targeted that with the V2, so I know that's destroyed, because you can tell it takes 3 hits for a base defense, and you can tell by the sounds of what you hear whether it's been destroyed or not. You'll hear damage inflicted, and then you'll hear the explosion. But so this has been knocked out, but the next base defense, I want to take it out with this. Now it's open fire. There it is. And there you go. I've set off that atom bomb in a truck to take that out. Now, because it's had the desired effect, reinforcements are arriving. So I've got my shock troopers. That's 15 now. I just have to regroup, rally them all together. Now I still have to protect the engineers and the V2. Now I'm firing shots. That's been destroyed, I know it, but I'm firing a few stray shots because it won't hurt. But I have to protect my vulnerable units from all angles. That's why these guys are in different groups. I've got a group in Control Group 1, that's 10 men, and Control Group 2 is 5 men at the back with shock troopers, and that's going to be Control Group 3. So now I've got to move forward and clear this base. My objective is to capture a radar dome. That's what the engineers are for. But I'm being very careful with them, look. Advancing very carefully. And the view range of your shock troopers isn't very good, just like all infantry. You need a vehicle with them, really. Got to be careful. Forces can attack from behind at any moment, so these engineers need protecting. But there's the radar dome I want to capture. Oh, look, I'm under attack. Luckily, those engineers have escaped. Now I'm capturing the enemy structure, the radar dome, and these engineers are single use, like in the game. They're not reusables, like you can set it in Openra, but you've got all the excellent features. You see, they're veterans, that wasn't in the original game, and you've got attack move, all user interface orders and hotkeys and everything you could need. That wasn't in the original game, because attack move is essential for a strategy game, and all the different stances, because most of my guys I put on attack anything stance, which means you can order an attack move and they'll destroy structures as they're passing anything. Now this tank is control group 1 now, because he goes up front, he's got heavy armour and he can soak up weapons fire from anything. These Tesla tanks are my mobile sort of like skirmishers, and kind of like they pursue fleeing enemies, and they can move quickly to fight if there are threats from other places. So they're like light cavalry in a way. But I've got another demolition truck, and I've got my V2, my engineers. There's 2 left because I've captured the radar dome. But this tank and these shock troopers are my main force now. The Tesla tanks are excellent, but I'm using them as a mobile support force, and they're also watching the back of my forces, because they can quickly move to other places. So having them at the rear makes sense. Now my tank he can soak up fire from the enemy while these guys move up. A couple of rocket troopers there cause some damage. But I have to, obviously, like before, be very careful with my demolition truck. I can't order any attack moves or accidentally hit the F key, because it'll kill my engineers, my V2, all my troops. I'd be left with a tank. It'd probably kill these at that range. I'd be left with a tank. So you've got to be very careful with this thing. And troops just get incinerated over a large distance. Probably about that. Any infantry within a square like that, of an atom bomb in the middle, are probably going to be incinerated. And this is a bomber dropping just to cause more damage to these poor civilians. They're actually bombing the church. And here we go. I'm moving forward, clearing out the enemy, and here's some more reinforcements arriving. 5 more shock troopers, and the Tesla tanks are still protecting the back. Look, an engineer's under fire. They've got to run. And the Tesla tanks, look, just doing a perfect job of protecting the enemy, my units from the enemy. There's some oil pumps. That was the source of income for the villagers, was oil trade. Well, that's going to go. Keep the engineers safe. There, detonated the barrels. And I've built up a nice force now. In other attempts, I have had enemy units attack the radar dome while I've been down here, but it just depends if anything makes it through, or if you move on before units that are triggered attack you, you know, and it left stray units. So it's best to be thorough. And use your control groups. This is the last stronghold, because the locals have asked for allied help. And there's another kit, that's a heal crate, although I'm not in need of it. The heavy tank can use it though. There you go, yes, not bad. He was at half health, so that's actually ideal. For the last push, a full health heavy tank is essential. There's 5 more shock troopers moving in. And here we go. I'm just going to find out what defences we're dealing with, and then I'm going to use this demo truck. And I'll use the heavy tank to test out what's there. Because he's got good vision range. and armour, so he can spot things. Now you see this is the side of a base, so my demolition truck is going for it. Now I've got to move all these guys out of the way, well away. Infantry have so little health that atom bomb blasts really do hurt. There you go. I think that base defence must have been wiped out. And here we go, we've got more air support coming in, another Badger bomber. And let's see what is revealed. There's a stream of bombs. Yeah, took out the base defence, alright. And they've damaged the power plant for me. Now, the enemy is actually full of cash. They can't drop anything more off with their harvester. Now, this is what I was wondering about. With the engineers that are spare, in the past I've captured the hospital for healing. But I think it's best to capture a barracks and then capture something you could sell. And once you do that and you've got a barracks, you could then build, say, a spy because you've got a radar dome. And that way you could steal half the enemy's money repeatedly with thieves, with spies, I mean. You know, it might, I don't know, I haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm sure I did capture a barracks and you do get to build spies. I'm pretty sure of that. But I went to capture this one this time, and the ore truck is gone, and I could capture the war factory, but there's, you know, at this point, there's no benefit to doing that. I'd sell it, get some units, that's about it. But I've had more reinforcements dropped off. I've actually got 2 missile submarines, 5 Tesla tanks, a load of Tesla troops, a V2 and a heavy tank still. So there's more Tesla troops being dropped off by air support, you know, paratroopers, para-shock troops. But I'm capturing the war factory, and once that's gone, and I haven't got power to supply all this anyway, but there's the 2 missile subs. They're very handy, but that wasn't, that's no longer belongs to the enemy, because this force here, this player, this AI player, is defeated, so the neutral structure no longer belongs to anyone. Whereas this one, that's an enemy structure. Yeah, that one is, but I'm just not sure. I thought I could target that one and not this one, because because they've been destroyed, so it doesn't belong to anyone. And I've sent the missile subs just on a mission round here in case they reach there. But I thought the Tesla tanks will be the first to arrive. Now these guys are being slowed down by shock troopers, which is, you know, that's irritating. But these guys are okay up front. They'll get the job done. Now I wouldn't want that to happen in a multiplayer game. If I wanted to hurry up, I wouldn't like that. And here we go, the Tesla tanks are just sweeping up the final stronghold. Yeah, he's got a nice bolt on them, they have. They're good, these Tesla tanks. And there was another mission, Legacy of Tesla, that was in Counter-Strike, I believe. And in that one, you had the radar jammers were actually used in a mission for Tesla tanks, but you didn't have Tesla tanks in the actual game. You couldn't use them in skirmish mode because it was only Counter-Strike. It hadn't got to Aftermath yet, so at that point there weren't any Tesla tanks. But if you actually played the Legacy of Tesla mission, where you get the mobile radar jammers that are actually Tesla tanks, once you play that mission, you can then go to the skirmish mode, and those Tesla tanks that look like mobile radar jammers, they're actually available in skirmish mode. It was some sort of strange glitch where you don't have Tesla tanks, you couldn't build them at that point. By the time Counter-Strike came out for Red Alert, you couldn't make Tesla tanks, but there was the mission with Legacy of Tesla, and like I say, once you played that, you could then go to the skirmish mode and build those Legacy of Tesla tanks in skirmish mode, and they looked exactly like mobile radar jammers, but they just fire bolts of lightning. So it'd be interesting if any kind of interesting little glitch has been held over from that. If you could play the Legacy of Tesla mission and then actually have mobile radar jammers that have a lightning bolt, and then it'd be interesting. But these missile subs, I never ended up making use of them, and they could have been used. They're probably, all these things at the end were probably meant to attack this lot at the end, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because once that was, I was attacking here, I hadn't destroyed the base, and then I got reinforcements, so perhaps there's a trigger like destroying the base defense and then something else. But there you go, there's that Legacy of Tesla mission for you. I've destroyed the civilians and done Stalin's will. And there's the army graph. There's 3 opponents, AI of course. There's nothing to see from them really. My finishing army is 2 missile subs, 5 Tesla tanks, a V2, a heavy tank and 32 shock troopers. And there's 3 allied players, Greece, Spain and someone called an AI called Good Guy. But as the combat graph, not much to see obviously. I've got that's a 24,000 value army with those 2 missile subs. That's a nice decent army. And I've lost no structures, but Greece lost 20... No, is it 39 structures? I must have run over some sandbags also. Oh no, there was also a lot of civilian structures, of course. But I would have run over these sandbags, they would have counted for a fair few. Buildings lost. Yeah, 5 for 1, 39. But I killed 70 units, and there's 1, 12 and 0 for the others. So no support powers in effect. No production, economy. I've got 29,200 of assets because of what I've captured. Basics, 16 actions per minute, a very slow pace, and I destroyed 20,000 worth of assets. So there you go. I'm actually in low power, but because I'm not producing anything, it doesn't matter. I haven't got any money. But never mind, I think you could, like I say, capture a barracks, and because you've got the radar dome, you can build a spy. It might take a while with low power, but if you then capture another structure that you could then sell, you could then send a spy into the enemy refinery, which looked like it was full, and then get some cash out of it and produce some allied infantry. Yeah, it'd be interesting. So there you go, there's shock therapy. I hope you enjoyed it. I just thought, like I say, I'd show something different before I post some 1v1 multiplayer games. So if you like what you saw, give us a sub and a like. And if you've got a request for any other missions, because these OpenRA version of these missions are excellent. They're far superior to what they were originally, with all the user interface and all the hotkeys and veterancy and everything. It's so much better. So I hope you like what you saw. Take good care of yourselves, and until next time, everyone, goodbye.
Battle control terminated.